Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the E15 podcast. And I got myself, Hector, and I got Mario in this bitch.
What up?
Once again, man, it's just us two.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is pretty cool because this is a spontaneous review. It's not one of them that was like planned or whatnot. But before we get started, before I mention anything, once again, there will be spoilers. It's just fair warning, spoilers ahead. You guys can listen to us anywhere, man. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google, Apple, you name it. And follow us at our socials at E15 Podcast. But yeah, Mario, you want to tell them what are we going to be reviewing, bro?
So we were just scrolling through Netflix, right? Because we finished reviewing a game today, right? And in between, in between the podcast, we ate and shit. And we were just scrolling through Netflix, and all of a sudden we see this one. Was it an original? No, it wasn't. It wasn't an original. It's not an original.
No, I think it was.
It was? I thought it wasn't. But we were just searching, and we found a show on Netflix.
I recommended it. No, it's not a Netflix original.
No, it's not. And it's only 8 episodes. It's called Goedam. Goedam?
Yeah, Goedam, something like that.
Basically, it takes place in Korea, and it's an anthropology show, but it kind of takes place in the same universe. And it's just each episode tells a different urban legend in Korea.
Yeah.
So it's a horror show basically, and
right.
It's all in Korean. You have to watch it in English subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
And as for both of us, we don't know anything about Korea when it comes to urban legends. We found it very intriguing, and it was honestly, I enjoyed it. I think out of all episodes, I think there's only 2 that I was just like, okay.
No, definitely.
But the other 6 I thought were great, and I was fucking entertained. I was like, whoa, this is fucking good. And I don't know, man, Korea knows how to do horror shit.
No, they do.
Like that, the first episode,
that's fucking scared me.
I think the first one's my favorite one, bro.
It was actually, it was good. I like So there's 8 episodes. Right, there's 8 episodes that are all based on urban legends, and what we're gonna do, because each episode is very short. Mm-hmm. Some of them are 8 minutes.
The longest one is 15 minutes.
Yeah, the longest one is 15 minutes. The rest is like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 7 minutes. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to do mini reviews of every episode. It's not gonna be long, guys, because there's like 8 minutes. And since Mario and I, we don't know the
urban legends in
urban
Korea.
legends, I looked up on Reddit of this person who breaks it down for us. So we looked up while we were watching it because we were so invested, and we're like, yo, we gotta know.
Yep.
And we did it to a few episodes, but then we ended up stopping.
Which one? Red Shoes, right? That's the one we stopped.
I think
Red Shoes is the one we stopped.
I think is where we stopped. Yeah, we stopped at the 5th episode, and then we decided, okay, we're gonna read the urban legend with you guys in this podcast. So the first episode is called Crack, right? And so you wanna.
So basically, episode 1, which is called Crack, it basically begins in a school, and from what we see, it looks like an all-girls school. Even though you see,
that's true, right?
Even though you see a boys' bathroom sign, but I'm guessing it's an all-girls school because you literally do not see a single dude at the school.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
And we see that the camera focuses on this one chick in the class, and she pretends to have her period. She says, "Hey, teacher," and she just shows the napkin full of blood, and teacher's like, "Go ahead, take care of it." Mm-hmm. And then she walks to the bathroom, and as she's walking towards the bathroom, she hears something. And of course, she doesn't see anything. But as the viewer watching it, if you pay attention, she's walking down a hallway to go to the bathroom. And when the camera's turning, because she stops, because again, she hears something, you can see for a quick second at the end of the hallway, someone. Now, that's someone.
Like a figure.
It's a figure, right?
But you skipped over the part where as she was leaving the classroom.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
So
as she was leaving the classroom before she got in the hallway, there is 2 pictures, one of her and one of another student. Now, and when you're watching it, it's going to translate it, and it says, what did it say, like top 2 academic students, something like that? Basically saying there's a ranking system in the school of who's the smartest. So it goes from like 1 to like 450, depending on how many people are in the school. And she's number 2. And someone's ahead of her, but I don't know. Does this say that she was already dead?
Nah,
I don't
think
remember.
So. I don't think
Either
so.
way, I don't know. You find out that the number one died.
Yeah.
Like she's dead.
And we'll tell you the story after.
Mm-hmm. So you just find out that number one's dead and that she's basically the
No, and well, let's mention like as she was leaving the room, that picture of the girl. Come on, Mario.
I kept forgetting, bro.
The girl, the poster of that girl
Mm-hmm.
that's ahead of the girl that's walking out of the classroom. That picture, her eyes moves.
It follows her.
Follows her, and like she does like a grin type.
A
shit.
creepy like smile.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Mario and I
That was
freaked
creepy.
out on
When
that.
we first saw it, we were like, "Yo, look!" And okay.
So then, so now we're back at the hallway where we see that figure.
Yeah, all right.
And she enters the bathroom.
So as she enters the bathroom, then you can clearly see the figure at the end of the hallway, but it like disappears, like particles, right? That's what it looked like to me. Like it slowly, like it just dissipates. But either way, she goes in the bathroom. She goes to one of the stalls. Which, by the way, shout out to Korea because they do bathrooms right.
Yeah,
it's 100% fucking privacy, dog.
Yeah,
I wish it was like that in the fucking States, but it's not. But either way, back to the story.
Yeah, shout out to Japan too.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I love the way they do it. That's true privacy, bro. I fucking love that. But she sits down in the stall, right? And turns out she faked her period.
Right.
She lied to the teacher. She actually pulls out some cigarettes.
Yep.
She a bad girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's naughty. I dig that. No, but she tries to get her lighter and she drops it, right?
Yeah.
She drops it, right? And as she goes to pick it up, there's like two more stalls, and the fuck, I hear screaming.
What was that?
Probably your sister. But as she is picking up the lighter, she's like looking under because the stalls doesn't go all the way to the ground, so you're able to see the other two stalls. As she goes to pick it up with her hand, one of the doors for the stall opens, but there's no one there. It just opens, and then it closes. And she's like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden, you see the second stall, the one that's closest to her left, that one opens too.
And it's like it's opening like a ghost is opening it.
Like
something.
It's not wind, it's nothing. It's like someone's like opening it like with their hand and then closing it again. And then does she go up or do we see the thing?
What?
You know how we see the
So what happens is because she's startled.
She goes back up, right, once?
Yeah, she goes back up and then she goes back down to like pick up her lighter, and then she looks at the stall, and then we see like hair coming out from the toilet.
Yeah, the one next to her.
And then the hair quickly shoots back inside the toilet, and then she gets up again. She's like all freaked out and stuff.
Oh, we also left out a detail.
What?
Whenever she tries to light the lighter, it makes like a scary noise, like it makes a loud noise. Like it won't let her light it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she tries to do it again, like twice. She does it, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And that's how she drops the lighter. I'm pretty sure that's why she dropped it. I forgot. But after that, I believe after she sees the hair go in the toilet, she gets back up. She sits down, and that's when she's just sitting there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then the next thing you know,
you just hear like banging.
Yeah, you hear banging, and the next thing you know, her stall opens, right? Or am I wrong? I'm trying to remember because there's 8 episodes. We just sat through all 8, so I'm trying my best to remember the first one.
I don't think so. I think doesn't she look down again, and then that's when the head appears.
Oh, maybe.
Right?
You could be right. Fuck.
So along the lines where she looks back down and she's looking at the end of the bottom of the stall, and then all of a sudden we see this head like pop in in the bottom of the stall, right, and scares her, and then the ghost whatever says, "I found you," and then this ghost is legit upside down and opens a stall and then drags her. So that's what happens.
Yeah, she's looking down under the stall. I'm watching it right now, to remember. And yes,
and then the head pops down.
There's a head, and she's like, literally, imagine like, you walking, but your head's on the ground.
Yeah,
that's how it basically is. Like,
and then we see her floating.
Yeah, and
upside down, and then she ends up getting killed. This ghost has found you. She ends up dragging her out the stall, and ends up killing her. And then the next shot is just the bathroom,
fucking bloodied up.
Yep.
Fucking gruesome as shit.
And
what I think what we find out is that was
so before you continue, it's the scene. It's all bloodied up.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Mario, you're forgetting everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene is all bloody up with the stall bathroom, and we see the same girl that was killed upside down, just like the ghost, but her head is inside the toilet, and her body is like upside down, and her head being inside the toilet. And it's all bloody and stuff, and that's how it ends. So, what were you gonna say to that?
No, I was gonna say, you remember this part?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So after you see her head in the toilet and everything, it goes back to the two pictures that you see of the number 1 student and the number 2 student. And the number 1 student, like we said, remember, she was grinning and shit. Now the number 2 student, she looks scared. When you first see her picture, she looks like she's nervous, like she doesn't want to take the picture. But now when you see her again for the second time, now she has that grin.
Yep.
Now she's slowly smiling, and you're like, oh shit, like what the fuck? And that's how the episode ends. Mm-hmm. And do you want to read?
So this episode was.
I liked it.
I liked it too, man. It was creepy. So we're gonna read the part that I found on Reddit. Shout out to this person.
For real though.
It's because, like I said, it explains the urban myth, right? So it says right here, episode 1, crack, that there were 2 students, the top first and the top second. The top second got jealous of the top first, so she killed the top first by pushing her off the school/apartment rooftop. The top first died, hitting her head first on the ground when she fell. Later, as an upside down ghost, the first haunts the top second and kills her as revenge. The name, I'm not gonna say this. I'm gonna butcher his name. The name, look, that just says Kong Kong. That's what it says.
Does. The name Kong Kong
means an animatospoic. How do you say that? Animatopoic. Word for bouncing sound. The ghost literally moves with her head. It's a pretty old horror story, this person says. And so yeah, that's the I guess that's the story, is that the second place girl, right, was jealous.
She was jealous that she wasn't in first.
And so she pushes off this girl.
And she lands on her head first.
And that's why she's like that.
That's why she's up. That's why she's literally walking on her head, if that makes sense.
Right.
And that's why she killed the number 2 student in the bathroom with her head in the toilet. And she's like upside down too. So that was basically the first episode.
Right. So then we get to, actually, you know what? Since these are mini like reviews, I guess. Mm-hmm. Do you want to rate each episode? Like,
yeah,
give a quick rating.
I mean, we're just rating the episode alone. This one,
yeah,
I would give it like I was probably my most scared on this one. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
this is like a really great first episode, and it really starts to show off really good.
Yeah,
I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think the only way I would give it 10 out of 10 is if I really had like a scream, like I was like, oh shit. So yeah, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. It was great. And it's really saying something because the episode's only 8 minutes.
Yeah.
These episodes are really short, and they do a great job of putting fear in you and anxiety.
Yeah. So you said 9 out of 10?
9 out of 10 gives one a 9 out of 10.
And you said, wait, I'm sorry, because I got distracted. You said you give it a 10 because of...
If I would have went like, oh shit, like it got a scream out of me.
Okay.
Like here, it gave me suspense. I was nervous. I was on the edge of my seat all the time. But I wasn't like full, like, oh fuck, like, where actually scared me. If I would have got one of those moments, I think I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
All right, so yeah, I think I'd agree. I think I'd give it a 9 too. Mm. So then we're moving on to the next episode, Destination. And so what happens in this, we get a quick shot of a taxi driver driving down the road, and he's very tired and
it's
whatnot.
Very late at night.
His radio stops working, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "You know what, man? I'm so tired. Let me just pull over real quick.
Let me rest my eyes real quick."
So he pulls over, and he ends up taking a nap, and he wakes up, and it's like 3 a.m. And then we get a quick shot of the rearview mirror of this woman just standing there
next to him while he's still asleep.
And that freaked us out. We're like,
that freaked us out, yeah.
And so then we hear the door open, and that even freaked us out even more.
Well, yeah, because the guy is like barely just waking up, and she literally just enters the fucking taxi cab.
Yeah,
like nothing. Fuck? And the guy, here's the thing. I get it. He's a taxi cab,
Uh-huh.
but even if it was that was my job, I would still be weirded out. I'm like, bro,
Yeah, bro.
I was sleeping. You're just walking in like it's nothing.
And it was 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was very late at night. Like, bro, like why? Like in the where he parked, it's like a weird place for someone to walk up to the taxi cab.
Yeah.
So,
So after that, the lady gets inside. He's like, he's not really startled. He's like, oh shit, like it's late at night. What is a beautiful young lady doing? Typical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, where do you want to go? She mentions a hotel or a motel,
a location. It's a location.
and he tries looking up GPS and he can't find anything. She says, well, hey, it's not popping up GPS. Do you know the directions? She answers yes. And right now we can't see her face. Her hair's like, in her face.
Her hair is covering her face.
And so he's like, all right, cool. And so they start driving and whatnot, and they start driving down this road, and then she says, please make a right.
Mm-hmm.
But the road is straight, and
there's nowhere to go to make a right turn. He can't make a right turn. If he makes a right turn, he's like getting in a car accident. So the guy's like losing his patience, like, what? And she keeps saying, go right. And he's like, what are you talking about? I can't make a right. And she keeps saying, go right. She's like, hey, lady, what are you doing? Like, there's no right turn. Like, he's getting angry. He's losing his patience to the point where he's like, God damn it. Like, why did I end up with a crazy bitch at this time of night? Like, fuck me, basically.
Yeah.
And then after that, I believe that she disappears, right?
Yeah, she ends up disappearing.
Like she just gone. She's no longer in the car with the taxi driver.
And he realizes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he looks back and he's like, what the fuck? She's not there. And then he immediately like turns back to the road, and there she is in front. And he immediately stops and he's freaking out. And he looks behind. He's like, yo, are you okay? Right? Because like, what the fuck just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And there she is. She finally shows her face, and we see that she has missing eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's out here terrorizing the guy and whatnot, and basically ends up killing him. And then the next shot, we see his eyes are gone, right?
And he's dead,
right?
But the taxi car moves.
So it's driving on its
So
own.
it's driving away, and as it's driving away, what I think it is that she takes eyeballs. Because I think those were her eyeballs that because remember before he takes his eyeballs, she shows like the show shows like another other eyes, another set of eyes.
Yeah.
So I think that was that girl's eyes. Those were her eyes, and it's moving on. Like it's like a thing. It moves on to the next person.
Okay.
Because as it's driving away, the taxi cab, it shows a pair of eyes on the road, in a puddle of blood.
And then you hear the GPS saying you arrived at your destination.
Yes.
And
so we're like,
working.
I think I know that. We were like, I think I know the legend is like it keeps taking people one by one, and it takes their eyes, and it moves on to the next victim, and to the next, and to the next.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. What would you rate this one?
This one was a great follow up to the last episode. I would say it was the same thing.
Yeah.
The fact when you first see the girl just literally staring at him, that creeped me the fuck out. Not gonna lie, and I was like, oh shit, like that's creepy as fuck. And the fact that she just enters the taxi cab while the guy's literally waking up.
No, yeah, it's creepy,
that makes it. It just makes it creepier and scarier.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, what the fuck's going on? Like, what the hell? Like, me and him, we're losing our shit. And we're like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I still find it weird that the guy found it not strange at all.
I know, man.
Because it's late at night. And I'm just like, dude, you're not a little bit weirded out by that?
Yeah, I'm not rocking with that.
But, no, this was another great episode. I would also give this one a 9 out of 10.
Yep. I agree with you. 9 out of 10. So, now let's read this, the urban legend. So, here it is. Urban myth is J-Uro ghost. There's a road called J-Uro. I'm probably butchering that. People frequently reported that they saw a lady standing alone on this road at night, or almost got in a car accident due to this lady. She seemed to wear huge sunglasses, but turned out that she didn't have eyes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it says right here. That's the myth. It's just the
haunted road.
Yeah, haunted road and the lady,
and
know.
it causes accidents because you think you see something, but it's not really there.
Yeah, and it says, but this episode had its own variation, so that's that. And so, quickly moving on, where you get to episode 3, special guest, which this one was more kind of strange. This one is about the streamer, you know, who says that she moved to a new
apartment.
place and whatnot, and she's streaming to obviously to their fans, and we see some ghost action happening where, you know, stuffed animal behind her is falling, some books, and the chat is saying, oh, stop faking it, you're acting or whatnot. She's like, no, I'm not, you're scaring me, and stuff like that. And it comes out, you know, where she just eventually ends the stream. She's like, you know what, I'm gonna end the stream now, you guys are scaring me. She's like crying, and so she ends up ending the stream, but she leaves the camera on it, and the stream is still going. And then
for like a little bit,
right?
And then it says stream froze or whatever,
right? And then it shows and the whole chat saw where she actually was faking all that, and she did plan on that just for the views and whatnot. You know, she calls up a friend, she's like, how did it look, and she said, looks great, and she's like, oh, I did very well and whatnot, right? She's like, okay, let me get a picture for a thumbnail or whatever the fuck. And then she uses one of those Snapchat filters that like those dog filters,
the doggy filter on Snapchat. Everybody knows what
and then all of a sudden a bunch of those faces started showing up, like, you know, typical, like
there's a bunch of filters on that screen, not just hers,
right? And so we see like a bunch of ghosts, and we're like, yo, what the fuck's going on, right? And then all of a sudden we see her head smash into her keyboard, and she starts smashing her head. We're like, yo, what the fuck's going on? And it turns out this ghost is legit her.
Yeah.
It's another version of her that's a ghost that's killing her by smashing her head. And then she eventually stops and pushes her off the chair, and she gets on the chair, and she starts, hey, my name is this, and she starts preparing for like a stream.
Yeah.
And that's it, bro. That's how it ends. And it was pretty cool. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I think that was like one of the clips I saw on the internet that got me interested in this. But yeah, so here's the myth about it. It's called a guestless day. Sun, quote unquote sun, the guest, is an evil spirit that wanders all four quarters, east, west, north, and south, depending on certain dates, and disturbs or harms humans. The guestless day means the day when the ghost is not active, no harm for humans. People still believe in this today, and the cost of moving is even more expensive in this guestless day, just because many people prefer this day. It says here the term BJ here means broadcast jockey equals streamer. It's not a sexual word we think in Western culture. There's a Korean broadcast platform who called the streamers as BJ. It was very popular once, but now a lot of streamers move to either Twitch or YouTube. Thus now we call them streamers or YouTubers more often. So yeah, that's pretty much the guestless day, right? And I wonder what that day is, though. Like, when is that day? It doesn't say, right? And yeah, it says people still believe in that today.
Yeah, and that's why they charge more on that day. That's crazy.
That's crazy,
bro.
man.
That is crazy.
So, all right, so moving right along, you know, episode 4, Curiosity, which is, did we read this one? I don't think we read this one, bro. I think, remember
we read it. It was the one after that we didn't read.
You're right. So, did you want to start on this one? Do you remember this one?
Okay.
Or do you want me? Because I do remember.
Yeah. You pick up where I forget.
Okay.
So basically, we're back at that same school we were in the first episode, right?
Yep.
But
wait. Before we move on, I forgot. Episode 3, special guest. We forgot our rating.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay. So for me,
this one was all right, man. I think this was,
for me. This was out of the 8. Was it 8 episodes? 9 episodes?
8
out of the 8 episodes. For me, this was like my least liked one. For me, I don't know, whenever you try to involve like social media like that and trying to make it scary like through a live stream and shit like that,
I thought it was all right, man.
For me, I don't know, like when you saw those filters of the multiple dog faces, for me, like that's just not scary to me.
No, yeah.
For me, I'm just like, I don't know, bro. Like, nah, like I don't know. For me, that's not good horror for me. I don't like movies like that. So for me, that's why I didn't like. It had me when the shit in the background was moving, but I'm like, oh, it's ended up being fake.
No, yeah.
And then those, like I said, those doggy filters things popped on. I'm just like, that's just not scary no more. So like, I was like, it doesn't have any, like, it just doesn't build any suspense for me.
Right.
So that's why like I probably would rate this one the lowest. I'll probably give it like. I want to give it a 5.
Damn, that's average right there. That's
Yeah,
just
because to
average.
me, cause it's just not scary.
Yeah.
It's just not scary to me
All
whatsoever.
right.
Like once I saw the filter, like I said, I wasn't scared. I'm like, nah, but you lost me. I'm not scared.
Okay.
So I'll
That's
have to
fair.
give that one the 5, and that's probably like the lowest one I'll give.
All right. For me, I think I'm gonna give it a 6. I think I liked it a little bit more than you. I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, just move. Okay, now we're back to episode 4, curiosity. So.
Okay, so like I said, we're back in the same school.
Yep.
We were in the first episode, but this time we were with 2 different girls, right? And they're leaving school, and one of them says, "Oh, hey, I forgot my book or whatever, something related to school. Let's go back and get it." And so they go back into school, and they're going up these stairs. They go all the way to the 3rd floor, I believe. And as they're going up to the 3rd floor, one of the chicks pretends to sprain her ankle.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, I sprained my ankle. Can you go up there and get my book for me?" And as the other chick is like, "Okay, I will," she goes up the stairs. The friend who pretends that she sprained her ankle is like, "Oh boy, she's in for a surprise or whatever."
Right.
And we're like, "What the fuck? Like, what is she planning?" And so we're back with the other chick. She walks in the classroom. She grabs her book, and then she goes to grab her friend's book. And as she's grabbing her friend's book, she opens up the locker where all the books are kept. She sees like this doll.
Yeah, this
And
creepy
this
ass
doll
doll.
is a creepy ass doll. It has like blonde hair. I believe it's like crazy long. It looks fucking ugly. It's creepy. It just gives you weird vibes, right? It didn't really scare her, right? She's like, "Oh, what the hell? It's weird as hell." She grabs the book, closes it.
But then she like hesitates. Like before she leaves, she just like freezes up, like she knows.
Oh yeah,
something's
you're right. I
there.
forgot about that.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, she does freeze up.
And then she finally leaves.
She leaves the classroom, and does she
As she's
wait
walking,
on-
no, as she
you pick it up,
walking,
you pick it up here.
yeah. So as she's walking down the hall, she stops. She's like, "What the hell?" She senses something, and then she looks behind her, and we see this girl on the floor.
Yeah, right.
And then this girl's like, I don't even know. She looks dead or whatnot. And then she starts moving like the the grudge type shit. Like, you know how like they crawl, like those
Yeah.
type of girls. So she's out here moving. Her bones are cracking and stuff. And the girl obviously freaks out. And this dead girl starts crawling towards her, and she ends up running away, going down the stairs. And as this girl starts going down the stairs, it turns out that she is going down the same stairs.
Same set of stairs.
Same set of
she's
stairs. It's like a
repeating it.
loop. And then we get to see the light change, meaning she's been doing this for a while. Right? And then so she eventually gets tired and stops. And then we see the same girl, the dead girl, starts crawling towards her, like down the stairs and stuff. She gets close to her face, and we see her eyes. And then she starts getting like multiple like pupils.
Yeah, she like
In her
they
eyes.
keep growing from like for a set of 2 to a set of 4.
And
to
then
get to
she
6, 8, 10.
and then she just ends up getting killed. And then
it goes to the other chick.
it goes to the other chick that her leg was sprained, and she's like, all right, she's taking a while. Like she calls for her name, and she ends up getting up because she's fine. She starts walking up the stairs, and on the
other set of stairs.
on the other side of the stairs, like right next to her, that same dead corpse that's crawling is crawling down, and basically it just hints that like she's coming for her next, and
she's dead too.
it just ends that way. And so I wonder what that was, man. So
Yeah.
so here is what this Reddit user said about this episode. This person even says, not sure about this one exactly, but I think it's like, do not pick up what you find in the street. It may bring you misfortune. And this person mentions that there are a lot of Asian horror stories about picking up something, usually dolls, at outside, and things go horribly wrong because the object has spiritual influences. And so it's one of those typical, you know, haunted dolls, whatever, that you find in the street type shit. So, all right, that's what we thought of. So from here on out, we did not read any of these myths. So we watched from episode 5 to episode 8 blindly without knowing any of this. So you're going to find this out the same time as us. So the next episode.
I mean, what would you rate this one though?
Oh, right. So this one, bro, I thought it was pretty creepy. I thought it was definitely way better than the last one.
The Shimmer one, yeah.
So I thought I'll give this one a 7, bro.
Mm-hmm. I would probably do the same thing. 7.
All right. So far, top rated is the first episode.
The first two.
The first two, yeah. So next one, this one's actually. Before I read this, I want to say my prediction about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Red Shoes.
Episode 5. I'm trying to remember.
So episode 5, Red Shoes, opens up with another female character at the school. I believe it's the same school.
It's the same school.
And so all of a sudden, people are talking about, oh, did you hear about this person? This person, Jin, I think. Jin something. I'm going to just call her Jin. So we hear these group of girls gossiping, saying, yo, Jin got hit by a truck. She got split in half and whatnot, right? And the girl that's on the desk, who's I guess the main character in here, is like, I'm comfortable by it. We see her looking at text messages, and then the teacher comes in and says, hey guys, don't be upset. What happened to Jin was an accident, okay? Don't talk to the police. Did you guys delete all the messages? And so Mari and I were looking at each other like, yo, what the fuck? This is sketchy. What are y'all talking about? And so we see this girl that was in the first shot, that as she was looking at these messages, she ends up deleting. She ends up leaving the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, we get the cuts to the teacher. She's like at an office area,
yeah,
like a cubicle,
like a teacher's office.
Yeah, and it's late at night,
mm-hmm.
right? Did it say what time it was? No, right?
No, we just know by how the scene looks, because
right.
It goes from being bright day, all the students are in her office, like sun's out, all that bullshit, to her in the cubicle, and it's like dark. Like you can tell, like the sun is setting.
Yeah.
So it's just darker out, and she's in her office, she's in her cubicle working or some shit. All of a sudden, she gets a text on her phone, and that text is from the girl Hector's talking about, saying, "Hey, there's something I need to tell you about the girl who died." And for me, right then and there, if I was that teacher, I would be weirded out.
Yeah, dude. Like, no,
because me and Hector were like, what? I was like, what the fuck? I would be surprised I get a text telling her to meet me in the classroom.
Yeah, at this time,
one,
man.
I'm like, bro, it's late as fuck. Why are you still here? And two, it's just like, what? Like, why? Just why?
Yeah.
It doesn't like it just it's suspicious.
Yeah, definitely.
And so the teacher goes, right? She goes to the classroom. She opens the door and she sees. I forgot the chick's name. The main chick sitting at a desk, and her hair is covering her face again. So she goes, she sits down, and she's like, ask her like, "Hey, what's up? What do you want to talk about?" And then slowly, you see her face, and she gets like disgusted because she sees what's going on. She sees the face of the
girl that got
who got hit by the truck.
Jin.
Yeah. And you're just like, and she gets like, she's fucking going crazy. She's like, what the fuck? What's going on? And the girl who committed suicide, who we think committed suicide, is like, oh, it turns out her legs didn't fit me.
Yeah, because earlier in the episode, we hear the girls gossiping that she got split in half. So what happens is this Jin ghost person ends up standing up, and her torso
is literally gone.
Is gone, and
waist down, there's nothing.
Right, and she's standing up, and she says to the teacher, "These legs don't fit me. Let me borrow yours." And it just cuts to her getting close to the teacher, and it just immediately cuts to the legs of the original teacher that had on the red heels, the red shoes, like walking all weird, like on her ankle.
She's walking like she's injured.
Yeah, and it just pans out to her just walking down the hallway, walking all weird with Jin's torso and then the teacher's
red heels.
Right. And that was it. It ends that way.
It's funny because that episode ended. I was like, bro, Hector, what if you and me were there? We're going up a set of stairs and we see that. I'm like, bro, I would be. I'm like, Hector, I'll whisper like, Hector, go back down the fucking stairs, go down, bro.
No, man, that's scary, bro. That's weird.
Nah, this episode was for sure creepy. It was like nice. Like this is what I needed.
Yeah,
again, after like these past couple ones.
And so my prediction was, before I read this
Reddit post.
Yeah. My prediction was that I told Mario was that this was no accident, that this Jin girl ended up because like I said, there was a group chat where people were leaving and deleting messages, and I assume that in this group chat all of the students were in it, and they were bullying this girl. to the point where she ends up killing herself by jumping in front of that truck. And the teacher knows about it, and the teacher didn't do anything because, there's many cases where kids get bullied and teachers don't do shit. And so I think that is what happened. She committed suicide and just went after the teacher for not doing anything. And that was my prediction. So let's read it. So this is our first time reading this in Urban. So Red Shoes. It's originally from Japan. It says a woman got in an accident or committed suicide and died, upper and lower bodies being separated. She lost her legs, so she walks with her arms / elbows instead with crazy speed. She cuts the lower body of the victim and haunts the next target. Haisu was actually one of the leaders of bullying her, and the teacher also covered up the bullying issue by removing evidence, the students' group chat, instead of helping Jin. The teacher was a bystander. And this person ends up saying that sadly this happens a lot in South Korean schools. The victims get severe bullying and mental health issues or even suicide. Many teachers, schools try to cover up problems. Yeah, and I've seen that a lot. So yeah, I was right.
Yeah,
I was right. That's basically the urban myth, man. That's so with this episode, what do you rate that?
This episode, this one was a good episode.
Yeah, I liked it more.
Like, if it's hard to describe over words, but if you were to see the actual because she has again, waist down is completely gone, and the way it looks was incredible to me. So I'll probably give this one. It's between an 8 and a 9. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah,
I think it's a solid 8. I think if it just, I wish it was a little bit longer. Not gonna lie, this one. And I think that's why I'm holding it back from a 9. Even though the last ones were only were on the same length, they were able to get me more hooked, more intrigued, more just more suspense. Because in this one, there's not a lot of suspense here. This is more horror. This one's way more horror than suspense.
Yeah.
While the first two, they had both throughout the entirety of the episode for me. So this one, this one's a say all. This is a good episode.
Yeah. I agree. I say 8. Okay, so moving on. Episode 6. We're almost done here, guys. Don't worry. Episode 6, Dimension.
Oh, okay. This is the elevator one.
Yeah, this is the elevator one, Mari. Do you want to start this off?
Okay, so I believe we start off by looking at a video of a man who's in an elevator, right? And in the video, you see
was it a man or a boy?
I think
it was like a teenager.
It was a dude. It was a dude.
All right.
And in the video, you see the man talking to someone in the elevator, but in the video, you don't see anyone else. It's just him in the elevator. So you see him talking to nothing. And as a viewer, you're like, what the fuck? What is he talking? Who is he talking to? Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, he gets scared to the point where he's on the ground. He's shaking. He's like, what it looks like he's begging for his life. And then after that, it cuts to basically his two officers basically looking at that same video. And the camera shows the elevator that he was just in, that dude who was in. But his body's all fucked up. It looked burnt.
Yeah, it was burnt up, skeletons. It was burnt up.
And so basically, they're talking about this crime scene because it's a whole ass crime scene now. There's officers there showing up. There's people looking at the body, trying to gather evidence and shit. And so they walk away from the elevator, and his other officers come up to the main investigator and saying, "Hey, he posted this online before he died."
Yeah.
And what this post said is "Hey, how do I enter that dimension?"
Like a different dimension.
A different dimension was what the episode is called. And basically it says how you have to show up between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
2 and 4 a.m. and go in the elevator, and you got to press a certain numbers at the same time.
Right.
And then I believe after he did that, that's where I get confused. He just pressed random numbers in.
Yeah, so you had to press a certain amount of numbers at the same time, and then you have to follow a number sequence, whatever it may be. So okay, you press 1 first, then 2, or So he's doing that, and as he's getting to the floors, they're opening up, they're normal. He's well, what is this? And then finally he gets to one floor where it's just black.
Like the doors open up and
it's just complete pitch black.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Then it ends up closing, and then it ends up opening on another floor, and then once it opens, we see this lady inside the elevator with him.
Well, before that, you gotta remember, before the lady shows up.
Oh, what happened?
I think the floor before. He gets scared because remember, I think he sees his own reflection.
Oh, right.
He sees it. One of the doors opens up and he sees him.
He sees his own
like, "What the fuck?"
reflection,
And he gets scared. And he's like, "What the fuck?" He goes to close the door to go to the next floor. As he's reaching his own finger, trying to press the button.
Oh yeah, that's it.
All you see is the woman who Hector mentioned. All you see is her arm, and she's the one that closes it. And he's like, "What the fuck? Who did that? Like, I didn't close it. Who arm was that?" And then you see the lady, and she says, "Go to the first floor."
Yeah.
Go to the first floor, please. Right? And the guy doesn't respond, and I think she says it again.
Yeah.
And remember, as she's talking, the doors open.
Right.
And so the lady starts to walk out. But as she's starting to leave the elevator, the guy says, "What? What did you say?" or something like that. He responds to her.
Right.
And the lady says, "Oh, so you can hear me."
Right.
And she goes back in the elevator. She refuses to leave. And it was at that moment where I was like, "Oh, he's dead. He fucked up." Because I think if the guy didn't say anything, he would have lived.
Huh.
Because of the line she said, "Oh, you can hear me."
Right.
And so basically, she goes back in the elevator. The door closes, and then do they have a conversation with each other?
No, I don't think so.
I think it just goes into where she starts.
Is this loud noise?
You hear a lot of loud noise,
and
right?
He's like covering his ears. He's on the floor.
It's like noise. It's like noises where it's hurting your ear. Like noises like when you a chalkboard and you fucking put
it's
like shit like those type of noise, and he's like reacting to it. He's like, my ears, what the fuck. Now he's on the ground in the same position we saw the previous guy in the video we originally saw in the beginning, and we're like, oh shit, here we go again. And so as he's on the ground, you see the camera in the elevator, and it's the exact same thing. He's talking to someone, but the camera doesn't pick the girl up.
Yep.
So we're like, oh shit, okay. And so we go back into in person in the elevator again, not looking through the camera elevator. And we see the lady, she turns around, and her face is like, it's like fucked up. It's like, imagine your face, but you twist it.
Yeah, it's
like, and you keep twisting it
up. Like,
it's all twisted up like one of those lollipops. You
like
know what I'm
Mr.
talking about?
Fantastic type
yeah,
shit.
basically like that,
like
bro.
Some weird. The lollipops that are like
like
swirls.
Like it's like swirls.
Yeah, her face was fucked, bro.
She I think she says something to him. I forgot what she says, but basically he ends up dying.
Right.
Because all you see is her face, and you get an up close shot.
She grabs his head and starts slamming.
Oh yeah, you're right. She grabs his head, and she starts slamming it against the elevator wall, right? And then you go back to the elevator camera, and nothing's there. He's just in the elevator camera. It looks like he's doing it on his own, and just
like the first footage that we saw from that boy.
But here's where it gets weird.
Yeah,
we start seeing him hitting his head, and we see no one's there, even though we know it's the girl. But I get lost here because then it goes back to him watching that video in like the same scenario in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, so it immediately cuts to the elevator opening, and the guy that died in the elevator, the investigator that wanted to see if this was true, he's there once again alive next to his partner. And his partner says, "Hey, that dude looks like you, like he's wearing the same clothes." And the investigator says, "Hey, don't jinx me like that." Yeah. And that's how it ends. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, but before it ends, remember the two girls.
Oh, right.
So as it's about to end in the episode, you see two girls who are from the same high school that's been appearing throughout the show.
It's the two same girls from the episode where where she sprains her ankle and gets the doll.
Yeah, it's those two same girls, and they go in the elevator and they basically try to do like, what you mean? Like, let's try it out.
Like, and then it cuts.
And then that's when the episode ends. We're like, oh, what the fuck? Well, they're dead now. We think they're dead. But yeah, I'm interested to see what what the guy said about this, because this one I'm confused about.
Right. So here we go. So this is what the user said. The urban myth, how to go to another world / dimension, originated from a Korean chat website. This person says it's similar to Japanese 5chan. This is a very recent and modern urban legend. Been only a few years. Someone posted how to reach to another dimension, the afterlife, using an elevator. He says, not going to explain the methods here because it's pretty long and complex. But the lady in the 5th floor is not a human in this world. You must not talk to her.
See, I fucking knew it.
So it says,
fucking knew it.
you must not talk to her, or you probably won't be able to return to your world safely. Also, the 2 girls in the end, those who die in episode 4 actually seem to fail the ritual because only one person must participate to succeed. More than 2 people will fail. The urban myth is 100% fake anyway, so don't even try.
They're both like, don't try this at home, man. Trust me, I tried.
No, I'm not trying that.
I don't give a fuck, even if
I'm
it's
not
fake.
trying that. No, but like, okay, so that makes sense. They don't die. Those 2 girls, they don't die because remember, the instruction says you have to be alone, and there are 2 of them. They're together.
Okay,
so they don't die.
So they're
so
safe.
I guess this is okay. That's interesting. It's a recent urban thing. You're right. You weren't supposed to talk to her.
Nick, like I said, the chick, she was gonna leave.
Yeah.
And then the guy says, what? And he's like, oh, so you can't hear me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he fucked himself over. He wasn't supposed to respond.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I like that this person said this urban is 100% fake though. Don't try it.
All
right. So,
we'll leave you underwhelmed.
so rating this episode, Mark.
I like this episode. This episode was great in my
it's
opinion.
pretty cool.
I think for me, I don't know. I think because people have paranoia at elevators. I don't have that. My sister has
I
it.
do sometimes.
My sister has it for Garen for sure. She doesn't go crazy, but like she hates being in elevators. It bothers her.
Like getting stuck.
Yeah, getting stuck in one. Me, it's not so much, but if there's a bunch of people in it, I do get a little bit claustrophobic, and because I know that feeling whenever I'm in an elevator and there's a lot of people, I hate that feeling. I think it added like a more like fear in me. So I think this episode, because I like the whole dimension shit. I like that one shot where it was literally just nothing but darkness when the elevator opened up.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was really cool. I was like, oh shit, like what the fuck? It gives you like, oh my god, okay, we're in it now. I think I'm gonna have to go back with a 9 on this one.
9.
I really enjoyed this episode.
Okay,
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too, man. But I think I'm gonna give it an 8 for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Wow, 9. Okay, yeah. So moving right along, we get to the 7th episode, Threshold. Right. So in this episode, we get a quick shot of this kid playing with his toys in a room, and we see this basically a family. We see this guy and this kid and this mom, and we're assuming they're not together. I think it's this boyfriend girlfriend type of situation going on. And so basically, she ends up the girl, the woman, that the mother of the child, ends up putting what are those things called? Talisman. Yeah, she puts them up in the house or something.
Yeah.
She put one on the door or something like that. And he's just cracking jokes like, why do people do that? Why do people believe in that? Something like that, right? And so they end up leaving the guy. He ends up going back to his house from work. He's all tired and stuff. And he's looking at this a talisman. And he's like, man, why is that there or whatever? And he takes it off, right? He takes it off. He goes to bed.
But you gotta remember, before he takes it off, he had a conversation with I'm guessing either the wife or the girlfriend, where he's like, hey, someone died. A kid and I think it was an officer or a parent died. And the whole neighborhood is worried about it. So that's why she put it up. Was to ward off the bad luck.
Right.
And that's where Hector's talking about, why you put that up there is shit. Like, who believes in talismans these days? And she's like, oh no, I only have it because like I want to ward off any source of like bad luck or anything like that.
Right.
And so, also you gotta remember, the kid was playing in a room and he trips.
Yeah.
And he trips on something that's later important in the episode, but continue.
Yeah. So actually, yeah. When does that happen? Does that happen after he wakes up from work?
No,
or before?
he gets back
it's
from work.
It's another day. No.
Yeah.
So after the mother and the child leave, the next day he wakes up and he sees like hair from that same spot where the kid tripped.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "What is this hair? What the fuck?" And he pulls it out. Then he just hears screaming.
Yeah, as he pulls it out, it's like he pulled hair from like a girl's hair.
Right.
And you just hear like a
Yeah.
and he goes to the ground because he's scared. He's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Right. And so he's like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on?" So then it cuts to him coming back from work. And at night he's like, "Why do people believe in this talisman bullshit? Blah blah whatever." He takes it off. And then he ends up going to sleep. And then that's when
everything gets crazy.
Yeah, that's when everything starts getting crazy. Blood started coming out from the ground. There's a chopped up hand that just comes out of like a
drawer. Not a drawer, like under the drawer, like a cabinet.
Yeah, like under a cabinet or something, and starts crawling inside the room. And he's awakened up by dripping blood from the ceiling that's hitting his face. And he's like, "What is this?" And he freaks out and he looks in the corner of the room and this weird like monster forms, like a Resident Evil type
it's
shit.
Because
man.
a bunch of different body parts are crawling all throughout his like apartment, his house, right? And so what I think is that all those body parts come together and they form that whatever the fuck we're looking at, some monster type of thing.
Yeah,
but. So he's surprised by the monster. He's on the ground. He's backing up, trying to get away from the monster as the monster's walking towards him. And all you see is just him. He just whacks him. The monster whacks the dude, and the dude dies.
That's it. And so let's read what this is about.
Yeah, for real.
So threshold. Here we go. Urban myth. Door threshold. That's what it's called. There is an old myths of door threshold that is actually the borderline of our world and the afterlife.
Okay.
There's another superstition that you get misfortuned if you step on door threshold. So maybe the kid or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
In a realistic view, your foot might get hurt if you step on it, since it's the borderline of room to another room. But yeah, that's all it says. That's all this person says.
So it's just an entryway to another dimension, the afterlife.
Yeah, I guess so. And I'm assuming, I guess it had to do with what he mentioned, about
the talisman.
No, about with the family that died, or you said.
Oh man, yeah, it probably has to be.
Yeah, but this person says, and but either way, man, I still appreciate this guy doing this. So what? That was episode 7. So I guess that's the door threshold, guys. If you guys want to look into it more. Right now, I'm just reading what I could find. I can't find a lot, but yeah, that's what it is. So then we get the last episode.
You forgot to rate it.
Oh fuck.
Okay, so this episode,
I thought it was all right.
This one was my second least favorite.
Yeah.
And for one main reason.
What?
The CGI on the monster.
Oh, yeah.
The CGI on this monster is fucking terrible. It is bad. Like it's not. It's like CW bad. You ever seen any CW shows and their animation? Like, it's fucking. It's like on that level, but even worse.
Yeah, it's
like you can tell as like the monster's walking towards the dude. Like it, like bro, like what the fuck? Like it's such bad CGI that it doesn't scare you at all.
Right.
Because you're like, bro, you can clearly tell it's CGI and it's badly done. So that's why I'm thinking this one's my second least favorite. It's not as bad as that Shrimping one because then I wasn't scared at all. At least this one, I was scared for a little bit until they got real close to the dude.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10, strictly because that CGI was bad and the story it wasn't that great in my opinion. This episode,
I'm a good at 5. I thought it was average. I thought it was okay. All right, moving on to the last episode, episode 8, Birth. And this one's kind of strange, man.
This one's the longest one. This one's 15 minutes.
This one's 15 minutes. This one opens up with this lady walking down the stairs, in the basement, and we see this steel door and like a cutout, right? And she ends up putting food there, and we see this child get the food. So we're under the impression this child is, in caged up by this woman.
And it's kidnapped.
Yeah, and so later on, we find out this woman is a like a one of those, what are those people's called who like
A
look
shaman.
at visions and stuff?
Well, apparently, because before that, it explains it. It explains what she is.
Oh, it
Because
does?
remember, it she's like looking through papers,
Mhm.
and it's explaining like in subtitles like what she is. Apparently, she's like a shaman.
Okay.
And from the bio of the episode, it says that she practices forbidden black magic.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So that happens, and we learn that a bunch of children are missing and whatnot, and she's out here talking to some spirit. She's doing like some rituals, and then later on, she ends up going back downstairs to the basement, trapping the child, and ends up killing the child.
Yeah, she ends up she goes in the room, and she has like this tray. And on the tray is like a big chunk of meat.
Yeah,
we don't know what the
I don't
fuck
even
it
know
is.
what it is.
I thought it was a heart, but Hector said it was way too big to be a heart.
It was so big, yeah.
And she tries to not antagonize. She tries to entice the kid to eat the food, but instead of giving it to the kid, she puts it in like this vase. This black vase, right? So she dumps the vase, and she puts the vase near the child, like, hey, go grab it. And basically, she puts the child inside the vase. So now the child's trapped inside the vase, and she has this knife. And she kills the child. She's stabbing the child multiple times.
Yep.
And then I think, from what we see, it looks like she gets possessed.
Right.
At this moment. Because now she's like moving weirdly and shit, and like her body parts are going. They're just doing they're just doing weird shit. So it looks like she's getting possessed. And then it cuts to her by like this tree, and there's like rocks, and they're placed in a way where like it's not natural. Like like she placed these rocks. Yeah. So what we think is that I don't know about Hector. What I think is that it's all the bodies of the previous kids. And that's how, like, are all buried on that spot. Right. But either way, we see her burying a box, and in that box, it's it's 2 feet. We're guessing it's from the kid that she just killed, and she's burying it, and she buries it panicked, like she's panicking. You know how you saw it, right? Yeah, she was doing it really fast, like she was panicking, and then after that, it cuts to her helping out a woman, right?
Yeah. Helping out
some lady, and apparently she's like in this marriage, and the shaman tells her, "Oh, your husband's going to die within a year if you go through a divorce." Right. But the wife resents her husband. Yeah. She said it's so unbearable to live with him, and so she gives the shaman more money, and it's like, can you make it sooner? It's like he won't survive past the winter. And so, but as she's doing this, that vase where the kid died, she has it behind her in like this cabinet in this room where she does her prayer, all that shit, and it's making noise. And I believe as she's talking to the woman, she gets possessed again. So she does her weird body movements when she got first possessed, but she looks away, and her eyes change. Yeah. They go to like they turn red, right?
Kind of red, like red, yellowish, but like her pupils are super small.
Yeah, her pupils are really small, but then it goes back to normal, and she finishes like the conversation with the wife, and then it cuts again to her sleeping, I believe. Yeah. Right, but then she's no. It goes to the other lady.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Because the other thing happens after that. Right. It goes to another lady, but this lady's asking her, the shaman, about her missing child. Yeah. And the shaman's telling her like, who are you? You like, you're a dumb bitch for losing your child. Like that's your fault. Like, what's wrong with you?
And once she's talking about this child, the room is shaking. She's hearing more noises.
The candles went out, so she has candles lit, and the wind or something blew them out. Yeah. So she starts panicking, like, what the fuck? What's going on? And she tells the woman who's asking about the child to get the fuck out and never come back. Like, she literally says, "You dumb bitch, don't ever return. Like, leave. Like, get out of here. I don't want you to see her again."
And then as she's doing this, remember we get this scene in her eyes where the child is like, inside her eye.
So what we
like
think,
a window. We're assuming that's her child.
We're assuming that's her child, and that's her the woman's child who's asking where her child is. We're
Yeah.
assuming that's the child right there in her eyes, because we see a child who's like moving.
It's probably
his
the
arm.
child that she killed.
Mm-hmm. That's
That
what I'm
one,
saying. And we see her. We see him like in the shaman's eye, her iris. That's what it's called. We see like the child like waving its arm like, "Hey, look at me, I'm here all along." And then she kicks her out. That's when she kicks the mom out. And then it cuts to her sleeping.
Yeah.
And she's awoken by a loud noise, and she heads straight to where she does these like prayers with the other people, and when she prays alone, and the room is completely fucked up. The paintings that were on the wall are now on the ground. She had like this little golden statue that she would pray to. Now that's on the ground.
Yeah.
And she quickly puts it back to where she left it, where it's supposed to be. And she's praying like, "Please, no, don't do this. I'm sorry, please." And she's doing this motion where she prays, and then she like, I think, claps her hands. Was she clapping her hands? I think she claps her hands. And basically the cabinet where she kept that black vase where she killed the child, it basically explodes out. And I think there was a talisman there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a paper there that came out of the vase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and basically what comes out of the vase are like these black pebbles,
Yeah.
and she eats them.
Yeah.
She eats it twice. She grabs one handful, eats it, grabs another one, eats it. And then she gets possessed again. So she does her weird body movements again, and all of a sudden you see her belly starts to grow.
Yeah.
And you see a face of a baby.
Yeah, like poking out, like stretching.
And then all of a sudden her stomach opens, and you see the arm
Of the
like
baby.
You literally see the arm of the baby, and then she dies. She goes
Yeah.
on the ground, she's dead, and you see the baby crawl out under her nightwear, whatever the fuck she was wearing, and all you see is just the baby crawl. And then I believe it just cuts to the tree where she buried that.
No, well, looks the baby looked like a rocks. Remember?
Oh yeah, the
Forgot to mention
baby
that.
looked like he was made out of
like the thing from Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
Like
it literally looks like that.
like
That
type
ass.
shit.
It looks like a bunch of that shit she ate. That's what the baby looks like. Those black. The baby's not black at all. It's like red, like skin.
Yeah,
like how a baby
yeah.
would look like if it actually would be birthed.
Right.
That's what it looks like, but with pebbles.
But the texture was like rocky type
Yep.
shit.
And then after you see it crawl for a little bit, it cuts back to that tree where she buried that box.
Yep.
But that's all you see. It just zooms in on that spot, and then the episode ends.
No, she was hung. Remember?
Oh yeah, she was hung. We don't know if it was her though.
Yeah, we don't know if it was her.
But all we see is a
we
body
like
hung. It's like someone committed suicide.
Yeah, like a body hanging on that tree, and then it just cuts.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And so let's see what Reddit has to say about it.
So yeah, this person says birth equals birthday or original urban myth, a strong ancient Asian curse using a child. The perpetrator kidnap or buys a child, make her suffer into starvation, and eventually kills the child, trapping in a jar or bamboo tube. This child's spirit has a very strong spiritual power, but also very fickle. Sadly, this really existed in ancient East Asian history records.
Wow.
Similar of using dogs and cats in ancient Japan and China. Damn. The government strictly prohibited this black magic with heavy punishment. A misunderstanding fact is that a shamanese, I guess that's
So a shaman,
can amplify her spiritual power with this horrible black magic. This is not true. Instead, she may be abandoned by her god/spirit for crossing the line. Also, most shamanese refuse to do work of curse because they know that is a wrong thing to do and they will be punished as consequences. And just a little side note here says, some say the kidnapped child in this episode is actually the boy from episode 7. And the shamanese is definitely the one from episode 2, Radio News, Shamanese death.
The shamanese from episode 2?
In the radio something. Episode 2. What was episode 2? Destination.
Mission.
Oh. The person talking through the radio. That's what it says right here. Radio News.
Oh, and you said the kid.
No. So the Radio News talks about a Chamonix death.
Oh.
And so they're thinking in episode 2 that this is the death that they're talking about.
And the kid is from episode 7?
Episode 7, which is the one with the talisman, the little boy right there.
Oh. Because they didn't say a kid went missing?
Oh, shit. Was that the mom, you think?
Maybe. But he didn't mention it, though. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. So we know.
It's either that kid or the kid that went missing.
Yeah, so we know this is all in the same universe. It's connected. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, shout out to this Reddit user. I gotta shout this man out.
Yeah,
Man.
He explained everything, bro.
Yeah, he explained everything, man. It's by Kelly Newbie. Kelly Newbie on Reddit. So shout out to you. But yeah, what do you rate this episode?
This episode was it was the longest one.
It was the longest one, but I feel like it wasn't.
I wasn't amazed. It's not one of my favorite. No. I would give this one an 8 out of 10. I don't think it wasn't bad or anything like that. I like the creepiness, the spiritual shit with the black magic with the shaman. What else? I also enjoyed the baby coming out. That shit looked creepy to me. I was like, what the fuck? I really enjoyed that. I loved like seeing the how she was greedy. Saying like, oh, I could make him die sooner for a little bit extra money if you slide it my way. And I was like, oh, she's a fucking corrupt shaman. So, yeah, I think this one for me it's a solid out of 10. It's a good way to end off. It could have been better. But
I thought
the beginning of this show is definitely the best. Those first
definitely.
Two are amazing.
Is we'll hook this. I'm gonna go with a 7, man.
7?
I think it's a 7, man. So. But yeah, man. Damn, we passed a little over an hour.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah.
What would you give it overall?
Overall, the show, I think it's a solid 8. I think it's an 8.
I'm trying to think about because like that streaming one, that was a 5, and then the CGI one, that was a fucking 6.
Yeah,
I'll give it an 8. Yeah, it's really only 2 bad ones. They're not even like that. They're not terrible.
They're not
like,
bad, but
it's just like
could have been better.
Could have been a whole lot better. But yeah, those first 2 episodes are incredible, and then you got these other couple ones that are pretty good. But those first 2 ones, man, I recommend you if you're gonna watch it, just watch the first 2 at least. Those are really good. They're good. Yeah. But I recommend, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I recommend Goedam. It's on Netflix. Give it.
It's short.
It's short. You can finish it in like in less than an hour.
Yeah, probably all of it's like maybe an hour. Yeah.
It'll probably. Yeah,
maybe less than an hour or something. I don't know.
For sure, less than an hour.
But yeah, guys. With that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. And I haven't said this in a while. I keep forgetting, right? Remember, don't let your past haunt you, guys. I haven't said that in a minute. What the fuck? But all right, y'all. Take it easy.
Peace.